There are moments in life when everything inside you says stop, when your mind whispers doubts, when your body aches with fatigue, and when your spirit feels like it's running on fumes. These are the moments that define everything. Not the moments when it's easy, not the moments when you're celebrated or supported, but the moments when it feels like everything is against you. That's when the real test begins. Not everyone will understand your fight. Not everyone is meant to, because the weight you're carrying was never designed for others to lift. It was given to you for a reason. But that doesn't mean the journey will be smooth. It doesn't mean you'll always feel strong. It means you'll be challenged in ways that question who you really are and what you really want. Discomfort will come disguised as logic, trying to convince you to slow down, to take it easy, to stop chasing the thing that keeps you alive inside. Distractions will flood your path, making the road hazy and the goal seem far away, almost unreachable. And there will be days when even getting out of bed feels like a battle you're losing. Days when progress feels invisible, when results don't show up and all your effort seems to disappear into silence. That's when most people stop. They confuse the lack of noise for failure. They interpret the lack of applause as a sign to turn around. But the truth is that silence is sacred. It's the ground where grit is born. You have to force yourself to keep going, not because it's easy, but because you said you would. Because your future self is watching, because the life you dream of doesn't come to the most talented or the most popular, it comes to the most committed. You may not feel motivated every day, and that's normal. Motivation is a spark, but commitment is the fire. The world will offer you 100 reasons to give up, but you only need one good reason to keep going, and that reason lives inside you. It may be hidden under layers of pain, fear, or fatigue, but it's there, waiting to be activated by a simple decision. Keep going, even now, especially now. When you feel resistance, it's not a sign that you're weak. It's a sign that you're close to something meaningful. Resistance shows up when you're touching the edge of your growth. It shows up when you're about to level up. That's why it feels uncomfortable. That's why your mind wants to run, because it senses that change is coming, and the mind fears the unknown. But the unknown is where your transformation lives. The unknown is where you become who you were meant to be. It doesn't matter if your steps are small. It doesn't matter if your pace is slow. It doesn't even matter if you stumble every other day. What matters is that you do not quit, that you do not allow temporary emotions to make permanent decisions. You are stronger than your feelings. You are more powerful than your doubts. And even on your worst days, you still have what it takes to push forward. Progress doesn't always feel like a roar. Sometimes it feels like a whisper, a quiet, unseen effort that no one celebrates, but it counts. It all counts. You've come too far to only come this far. You didn't survive everything you've been through just to stop now. There were times in your life when you didn't think you'd make it, but you did. And that same strength is still within you. Maybe you forgot. Maybe life got heavy. Maybe the world distracted you. But it's time to remember. It's time to bring that fire back. It's time to choose yourself again, because no one else can walk this road for you. No one else can do the inner work. No one else can carry your vision to the finish line. It's on you, and you have everything you need already inside you. You just have to dig deeper. You just have to keep moving. Force yourself to keep going when you don't feel like it. Force yourself when it's raining, when it's dark, when no one is watching, because that's when it matters most. That's when character is built. That's when leaders are made. Comfort is the enemy of growth. It's a trap disguised as peace. Don't fall for it. Real peace comes from knowing you showed up for yourself, that no matter what happened, you didn't fold. That's the kind of strength no one can take from you. Every time you choose effort over excuses, you're rewriting your story. You're proving to your past self that you're no longer stuck, that you're not defined by your failures, your rejections, or your setbacks. You're creating a new future, one disciplined choice at a time. It may not feel exciting, it may not look glamorous, but the results compound, the impact builds, and eventually that effort becomes undeniable. You'll look back and realize that every struggle was worth it, that every sacrifice made you stronger, that every lonely night, every early morning, every ignored temptation added up to something powerful: self-respect. There's a version of you you haven't even met yet, a version that wakes up with purpose, walks with clarity, and speaks with unshakable confidence. But you'll only meet them if you keep going, if you push past this moment, if you refuse to be defeated by temporary storms. The life you want doesn't wait for perfect timing. It waits for courage. It waits for consistency. It waits for you to say, "I'm not done yet." You can't grow if you stop when it's hard. You can't win if you give up every time it gets uncomfortable. Life will test you again and again to see if you're serious, to see if you're hungry, to see if your dream means more to you than your comfort. And only those who keep moving forward, even when it hurts, get to see what's on the other side. That's not punishment. That's preparation. That's how champions are made. That's how legacies are written. So when the world goes quiet and no one claps for you, clap for yourself. When your body says rest, but your heart says one more rep, listen to your heart. When everything around you says this isn't working, respond with relentless action. Keep showing up, keep pushing, keep fighting. You will thank yourself later. Your future depends on what you do now. Right now might not feel glamorous. Right now might feel exhausting. But remember this, every person who ever achieved greatness had to pass through moments just like this. They had to decide to keep going, to keep grinding, to keep showing up when nothing made sense. And that decision, repeated again and again, created the results they once only dreamed about. You're in a battle right now, but not with anyone else. The battle is within, and every time you win against your excuses, every time you beat that voice that tells you to stop, you grow. You become more. You become powerful. That power isn't in a trophy. It's not in a title. It's in your discipline. It's in your refusal to give in. So force yourself to keep going, not because it's easy, but because you owe it to yourself. Because you deserve to see what happens if you don't quit this time. Because no one can stop you if you decide to become unstoppable. Your life is waiting. And the only way to reach it is forward, one step at a time, one day at a time, relentless, focused, unshakable. Keep going. There are seasons in life when every part of you screams to stop, when the weight of your responsibilities feels too heavy, when your dreams feel too distant, and when progress feels invisible. In these moments, quitting seems easier. It tempts you with the illusion of relief, of comfort, of escape. But deep down, you know, this isn't the time to slow down. This is the time to dig in, to stand firm, to push through the storm, not because the storm isn't real, but because you are stronger than it. You didn't come this far to stop now. Sometimes life won't give you an obvious reason to keep going. The results won't always show. The support won't always be there. The validation might never come. And that's exactly why it's powerful when you keep going anyway. That's why it's transformative when you choose effort, even when you're tired, when you choose discipline, even when no one is watching, and when you choose forward motion, even when it feels like you're standing still. Most people wait until they feel ready, until they feel motivated, until the timing feels perfect. But you can't afford to live like that. If you wait for motivation, you'll rarely move. If you wait for energy, you'll rarely act. And if you wait for permission, you'll never begin. The truth is, you have to force yourself. Force yourself when your body is exhausted, when your mind is flooded with doubts, when your heart feels heavy with setbacks. Force yourself when it's the last thing you want to do. That's where transformation happens. That's where the average separate from the great. It's easy to work when you feel inspired. It's easy to show up when you're winning. But who are you when things aren't working? Who are you when everything feels slow, when the breakthroughs aren't coming, when the dream feels far away? That's who you really are. That's where the foundation of your future is built. Not in comfort, not in ease, but in the fire, in the pressure, in the dark moments when you choose not to quit. There's something powerful that happens when you refuse to give in to temporary emotions, when you wake up and show up anyway, when you feel like giving half effort but instead give your all. That decision, that push, it may not feel special in the moment, but over time it builds strength. It creates a version of you that's resilient, dependable, and unstoppable. The kind of person who doesn't need perfect circumstances to produce results. You'll never regret pushing yourself. You'll never look back and say, I wish I hadn't tried so hard. But you will regret quitting. You will regret the moments you let fear or laziness or doubt win. You will regret the goals you walked away from because it got hard. And it always gets hard. That's not a flaw in your journey. That's a part of it. Every goal worth having comes with resistance. That resistance is your teacher. It's not there to stop you. It's there to sharpen you. Every time you choose to move forward in spite of resistance, you're proving something to yourself. You're proving that you're not at the mercy of your emotions. You're proving that you're committed, not just interested. You're proving that you don't just dream, you do. That kind of self-trust is priceless. That kind of self-belief is what separates those who reach their goals from those who only talk about them. And don't expect the world to clap for you. Don't expect everyone to understand your grind. People will question you. Some will even laugh. Some will disappear when the climb gets steep. Let them. Their absence is making room for the next version of you. The version that doesn't need applause to perform. The version that doesn't rely on praise to move. The version that operates with quiet confidence and unstoppable drive. You don't need external permission to grow. You don't need someone else to say you're doing great in order to know your work matters. You're not here to impress. You're here to become. You're here to build something real, something lasting, something no one can take from you. And that begins by doing the work, especially when it's hard, especially when it's lonely, and especially when it doesn't make sense to anyone but you. There will be mornings when your body aches and your mind tells you to skip it. Do it anyway. There will be nights when the temptation to coast creeps in. Push harder. There will be stretches of time when nothing seems to move. Keep moving. Because forward is forward, even if it's slow. Progress is still progress, even when it's invisible. And effort always compounds, even if you don't see it right away. Keep showing up. Keep putting in the reps. Keep doing the inner work, even if no one else sees the results. Because something powerful is happening beneath the surface. You're building endurance. You're building toughness. You're building the kind of mindset that doesn't fold when things get rough. And that mindset will carry you through any storm life throws your way. You're not weak for struggling. You're not broken because you feel like quitting. You're human. And being human means there will be days when everything feels like a battle, but you still have a choice to fight anyway, a choice to believe in your future even when the present feels painful. A choice to keep stepping forward 1 inch at a time because giving up isn't an option anymore. You may not be the fastest, you may not be the smartest, but if you outlast, you win. If you keep going when others stop, you rise. If you keep showing up when it's uncomfortable, you separate yourself. And that's the real secret. Not perfection, not genius, not luck, just consistency, just the refusal to quit. Just the stubborn decision to stay in the fight until something shifts, because eventually something will. There's a version of you that exists on the other side of this moment, a version that's sharper, more disciplined, more confident, more powerful, but you don't meet that version by quitting. You don't unlock that life by folding under pressure. You meet them by walking through the fire, by doing what you said you'd do, even when you don't feel like it, by proving to yourself that you're not the type to back down. You can't control everything in life. You can't avoid every storm, but you can control how you respond. You can decide to keep showing up with a heart full of purpose and a mind rooted in discipline. You can choose to honor your potential even when no one else believes in it, because belief doesn't start with them, it starts with you. You were not born to live small. You were not born to shrink or settle or stall. You were born to expand, to grow, to stretch yourself past what's comfortable and become something greater. And every time you force yourself to push through when it's hard, you get closer to that destiny. This is not just about fitness or business or habits. It's about life. It's about proving to yourself that you have what it takes to endure, that you can overcome, that you can rise no matter how many times life knocks you down. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are what you decide to do next. And if you decide to keep going, truly keep going, nothing can stop you. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for someone to rescue you. Be your own rescue. Be your own motivation. Be your own hero. You don't need more time or more luck. You need more grit. You need the courage to start and the discipline to keep going, because no matter how far away the goal may seem, you are getting closer every time you refuse to quit. So when the voice in your head says, stop, answer back, not today. When the excuses rise, drown them with effort. When it feels like too much, remember why you started. You didn't begin this journey to be average. You didn't sacrifice so much to end up settling. You are built for more. You are capable of more, but only if you keep going. Every second you choose to press on is a vote for the life you want. Every action, no matter how small, is a brick laid on the path to your future. So build with focus, build with intention, build even when you're tired, and trust that one day when you look back, you'll realize that everything you fought for was worth it. Every hard day, every unseen effort, every late night, every early morning, it was all part of the process. This is your time, this is your fight, and if you keep going, there is nothing you cannot become. There are times in life when everything around you seems to scream that you should stop. When the weight of your challenges presses on your chest so heavily that even breathing feels like an effort. When your motivation is nowhere to be found, your energy is depleted, and all you can feel is the temptation to quit. That's the moment right there when you have to dig deeper than you ever have before. That's the moment you force yourself to keep going. Because life isn't testing your talent. Life isn't questioning your dreams. It's testing your commitment. It's looking you in the eye and asking, how bad do you really want it? Not when things are going your way. Not when you're winning. Not when everything is aligned and everyone's cheering for you. No. Life asks that question when everything is against you, when the doors are closed, when the silence is deafening, when the answers don't come and the progress isn't visible. That's when the real question is asked, will you keep going anyway? Anyone can start. Anyone can be excited in the beginning. That's the easy part. But the truth is, most people stop long before they ever see results. They let temporary emotions become permanent outcomes. They confuse struggle for failure and difficulty for a dead end. But those who truly succeed, those who create something extraordinary with their lives, are the ones who keep going. They keep moving when it doesn't feel good, when it doesn't feel fair, when it doesn't feel fun. They force themselves to rise again and again, not because they feel like it, but because they made a decision that quitting is not an option. You can't afford to wait until conditions are perfect. You can't keep waiting to feel ready. Life won't give you a sign that says now is the right time. You have to move anyway. You have to act anyway. You have to persist even when everything in you is screaming for rest, even when your heart is heavy with disappointment. You have to silence the noise in your head that tells you it's too late, you're too tired, or you'll never make it. Because the truth is, your mind will try to protect you from discomfort, but growth lives in that very discomfort. Everything you want, everything you are meant to become, lives on the other side of that resistance. No one said this would be easy, and if someone did, they lied to you. Because pursuing something meaningful, whether it's your purpose, your potential, your dreams, is a war. A war against your old habits, a war against your excuses, a war against fear, laziness, and doubt. And the only way you win that war is to keep moving forward no matter what. Even if you take small steps, even if you crawl some days, the only requirement is that you don't stop, that you refuse to let your current mood decide your long-term future. There will be days when you feel invisible, days when no one notices how hard you're trying, days when you do your best and it still feels like it's not enough, but that doesn't mean you're failing. That means you're building, and real building takes time. Real building requires solitude. Real building doesn't come with applause. It's quiet, it's gritty, it's lonely, but it's worth it. Because eventually, all those small steps you take in the dark will bring you into the light. All those quiet sacrifices you made will echo into visible success. But you'll never get there if you quit now. You'll never reach the mountain if you stop halfway because the climb got too steep. You must keep going, not because it's comfortable, but because that version of you dream about, the one who lives with confidence, clarity, and peace, is waiting for you on the other side of your effort. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get it all right. You just have to be consistent. You just have to show up when it's hard. You just have to keep promises to yourself, even when no one else is holding you accountable. Because self-respect is built in those moments when you could take the easy way out, but choose the hard way instead. When you say, I won't stop, even when everything hurts. When the pressure gets intense, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're being strengthened. The weight is there to make you stronger, not to break you. Just like muscles are built by resistance, so is character, so is discipline, so is purpose. The challenges you're facing are shaping you. They're refining your vision. They're stripping away the distractions and the excuses until what remains is raw, real, unshakable determination. And don't underestimate what happens when you simply refuse to back down. Even if you feel slow, even if you don't feel impressive, every time you get up and do the thing anyway, you're moving forward. Every time you silence the voice of doubt and respond with action, you're building something permanent. And eventually you become unstoppable, not because you never feel fear or fatigue, but because you've learned how to act despite them. You may not feel powerful every day. You may not feel like a winner every day. But every time you do what needs to be done, when it's hard to do it, you're stacking victories. Invisible, quiet victories that build into something undeniable over time. This is the kind of power that doesn't need validation, the kind of strength that doesn't need applause. It grows from within. It grows from the discipline of just not giving up. Some days the progress won't be clear. Some days you'll feel like you're going in circles, like your efforts are adding up to nothing. But don't trust that feeling. Feelings are temporary, but the impact of your commitment is lasting. The process may be slow, but slow is not the same as stuck. Slow means you're still moving, and moving means you're still in the fight. You must learn to live with the discomfort, to embrace the silence, to walk through seasons where no one notices you, because those are the moments when you're becoming someone no one will be able to ignore. Those are the seasons where you're earning the life you've dreamed of, not with shortcuts, not with hype, but with sweat, with resilience, and with your refusal to quit. You have to keep pushing, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because the truth is, something is happening. You're getting stronger. You're learning to endure. You're becoming someone who doesn't fold. That kind of person is dangerous in the best way. Because the world can't stop someone who's mastered the art of showing up. Someone who works without applause. Someone who grows in silence. That kind of strength isn't created overnight. It's earned, hour by hour, decision by decision, day by day. You're not falling behind. You're not failing because it's hard. You're not broken because you're struggling. You're on the path. You're doing the work. You're becoming more than what you were. And that's something most people never dare to do. Most people settle. Most people tap out when things get uncomfortable, but not you, not anymore. You've already endured so much. You've already overcome so many battles just to be here. Think about that. Think about the times you could have quit, but didn't. The times you could have walked away, but stayed. You didn't come this far just to give up now. You've come too far. You've grown too much. You owe it to yourself to keep going, to see what happens if you don't quit this time. The reward for your persistence is not just success, it's self-respect. It's the knowledge that you didn't break when you could have, that you kept standing even when the ground beneath you shook, that you became someone who could not be moved, not by circumstances, not by failure, not by fear. So keep going. Force yourself to move, even when it feels like you're stuck. Force yourself to keep showing up, even when the days blur together. Force yourself to believe again, even when doubt is loud. This is how champions are made, not through perfect conditions, but through imperfect effort, repeated relentlessly. Let this be the moment you choose discipline over delay, effort over excuses. Let this be the moment you choose yourself, not just when it's easy, but when it's hardest. Let this be the moment you realize you've had the power all along. It's not the dream that needs to change. It's the distance you're willing to travel for it. So travel far, push forward, stay in the fight, keep going, because the story isn't over. The page hasn't turned, and your greatest chapters are still being written. And they will only be written if you refuse to put down the pen.